Good evening, I'm Shane Jones, leading the news at 7. Tomorrow is Budget Day in Barbados, and lead spokesman of the labor union's governing body, the Congress of Trade Union and Staff Associations, Dennis DePisa, says the union is waiting in high anticipation on what Finance Minister Chris Sinclair will be offering the workers of Barbados. The CITUSAB General Secretary says this year's budget will be a bit of a challenge given the complexities of the country's fiscal state. He, however, contends that workers are the ones who would feel the brunt of this economic hardship.
Whatever happens in the budget, there has to be some balance in terms of how we're going to be able to help the economy to recover, but at the same time find the ways to grow the economy, but also to empower our people, because you would know that there are a number of persons who are unemployed, need to be employed. There are persons who have not had pay increases for considerable time, specifically public servants, and we are on heavy level of tax burden. So those are things that we would like to see how those will be addressed in the context of the budget.
By year-end, fruits and vegetables can be better supplied to local markets if a training program for farmers is successful. That's the word from Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Agricultural Society, James Paul. Speaking from BAS headquarters, Mr. Paul says the main aim of the 7-month course is to create better managed farms in the hope it will lead to increased trade of produce.
We think that as a result of that, one, we will have a more capable farmer, capable of contributing more meaningfully to, for instance, the economic development of this country, capable of contributing more meaningfully to food security in this country, and being able to produce the crops that Barbados needs, in that greater consistency, also too in terms of the quality will be there, and certainly we are hoping to see even greater competitiveness as far as price is concerned.
The CTA is an organization working to ensure food and nutrition securities in member countries and has donated nearly $200,000 for the training set to start in 2 weeks. It's the first time the entity will join forces with a local farming association in the region. However, unlike other programs funded by international organizations, the trainers will be local experts.
In truth and in fact, we think that within Barbados, we have people capable with the knowledge who have been trained, just as well as people overseas. It is just that sometimes they do not get the opportunity, to actually apply that knowledge, and do not have the resources backing them. And I really think that this is an opportunity here now where we can use our own local, homegrown resources as a means of trying to apply what we know here, and hopefully what we will do is achieve a great efficiency in production within the agricultural sector.
The Democratic Labour Party is promising to restore the constituency of St. Michael's Southeast to its former glory. And if successful in the next general election, the party's candidate for the area, Rodney Grant, is expected to be the driving force behind it. This was revealed during a ceremony at the Parkinson Memorial Secondary School for the candidate. The seat is currently held by the Barbados Labour Party's Santia Bradshaw, who defeated then-candidate Patrick Tannis by a slim margin. Mr. Grant says he is full of gratitude and will continue to maintain the same principles which placed him in the position.
I was very clear in my mind when the journalist asked me a few days ago at the headquarters, so when you get into politics, are you going to change? I was very clear in my mind to say to him that Rodney Grant today is Rodney Grant tomorrow. Because I know where I'm grounded. I know where I'm rooted. And my circumstances that I would have come up in as a boy, have determined that I will remain rooted.
Grant was endorsed by former MP for the constituency, Hamilton Lashley. In his opinion, there is no better candidate than one who has proven he has the best interest of the constituents of St. Michael's Southeast at heart.
When my time expired in Parliament, I felt that it was important to make sure that we had over the mantle of leadership of this particular constituency that was stigmatized, bastardized, and ostracized by many for years. P for Perry, P for the Pine, P for prison. Could anything good come out of the Pine? Could anything good come out of Nazareth? Rodney Grant. Rodney Grant.
A prominent businessman is working on a project which he says will significantly reduce the island's food import bill. It involves the development of a special grass. It, however, isn't for animal consumption. Chairman of Williams Industries Limited, Ralph Busy Williams, provided some insight into the initiative on CBC TV8's program, The People's Business.
We're Estates Limited. We are trying to develop the agricultural sector for food production in the St. Philip area. So I believe that mechanized farming has tremendous potential in Barbados. I am involved with some other people, some other engineers who are developing a grass that they can plant in place of sugarcane that will keep the weeds down and use as a rotating crop to increase the yield of food crops in Barbados.
Mr. Williams is all for foreign direct investment pouring into the island. Looking a bit closer to home, he welcomes investments in Barbados by Trinidad and Tobago and sees potential for further Trinidadian investment.
I hope they continue to invest here. In fact, I would like them to come and start some export businesses here. That they would set up production facilities here to export and earn foreign exchange. You know, I would like the Trinidadians to come and invest in agriculture to supply their supermarkets. There is no reason why they shouldn't be doing that.
Minister of Industry, International Business, Commerce and Small Business Development, Donville Innes, says tardiness and lack of trust remain hurdles for local and international businesses. Despite this, he says the island is doing well in the international business sector and its reputation as a domicile for business is trending upwards. He believes Barbados has adopted the right approach in attracting foreign direct investment in various sectors. And in the face of recent downgrades by credit rating agencies, Mr. Innes wants the country to move to ensure it can regain confidence of the international stage.
Credit ratings that we have gotten in recent times have not done us any favors. And investors look at that. They look at a jurisdiction and they read the reports put out by the World Bank, IMF, Standard & Poor's, who have put it out there. We can sit here and say, well, these things perhaps don't matter much. But for international institutional investors, they do matter. So we are duly bound as a government to get back to the point where that level of confidence is restored. I'm sure the Minister of Finance will address these issues head-on in the coming week in some areas.
President of the Barbados International Business Association, Gregory McConney, says timing is essential and suggests the island is losing out to other jurisdictions as a result.
With international transactions, you normally have a number of parties involved in structuring them, and there are normally long lead times in terms of putting together the various steps involved in transactions. But they require certainty in terms of being able to know that the particular transaction can be completed by a particular closing date, for example.
In another 4 to 6 years, the Queen's College Secondary School will lose more than 20 staff members to retirement. According to Principal Dr. David Brown, the focus must now be on finding new staff to continue the school's tradition of excellence. Sharika Griffith tells us more.
Speaking at a retirement function for 4 former staff members, Queen's College Principal Dr. David Brown revealed that he is among 23 others set to follow suit in the next 6 years. Dr. Brown believes their replacements must be people who will maintain the school's high standards and promote its growth.
But more important for me is the need for continuity, to have good succession planning, to recruit staff for the highest quality, to be highly qualified, dedicated staff who share our values and who are prepared to take the institution of Queen's College to a higher level.
The honorees for the evening were Randolph Chase, an English teacher for over 40 years, who incidentally taught Principal Dr. David Brown in first form; Margaret Amy, the librarian at Queen's College since 1975; Joan Amy, who worked as a clerk typist since 1994; and Mary Maxwell, a math teacher who first joined the Queen's College staff in 1988 and then returned in 2000, staying for some 15 years. They were showered with glowing tributes and gifts by colleagues and former students. Tribute was also paid to former English teacher Yuseline McConney, who passed away last year.
From early on in my career, she showed me that your knowledge of the subject you teach, it's important, but the connection that you make with your students, that connection in your heart, that is more important.
The four retirees gave close to 150 years of service, both in Barbados and the wider Caribbean. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
There are new developments in the case of the teens charged with the assault of a female secondary school student. Another was charged along with the three who appeared last week in the District D Magistrates Court. Meanwhile, the attorney representing the victim says there's very little satisfaction to be had from sending the perpetrators to prison. Kareem Smith has more.
16-year-old Kavia Smith and the 14-year-old male who spent last weekend behind bars after pleading guilty to assault occasioning actual bodily harm were released today on $1,500 and $500 bail respectively when they appeared before Magistrate Ian Weeks. However, the 15-year-old girl who pleaded not guilty to the same charges last Thursday was today accompanied by her parents and changed her plea to guilty. She was placed on remand at the Government Industrial School until Thursday, June 1st, when the trio will reappear in court. In a new development, a fourth student, this time a 13-year-old female, was charged in connection with the same matter and pleaded not guilty when she appeared before Magistrate Weeks. She was released on $500 bail and her trial will continue on Thursday. When I asked attorney Verla De Pisa, who's representing the victim, whether she's satisfied with the developments in the case so far, she had this to say.
My client is a child, all of them are children. So satisfaction is not what you would expect it to be. Nobody is going to feel good that anyone is being remanded. No one is going to feel satisfied when someone is being sent to prison. There's no feeling of satisfaction that comes with that.
She says her client will be pursuing compensation for the damage suffered to her while the state pursues criminal charges. Ms. De Pisa responded to questions about why these children were remanded when others are usually given bail for more serious offences.
Once you plead guilty, you become the property of the court pending sentence one way or another, all right? All of them, and then you're at the mercy of the court whether they grant bail pending sentence or not. And one case is not entirely like another one.
Meanwhile, Sergeant Darwin Thompson, who's prosecuting the case, says he did not argue for the students to be remanded. The session again attracted attention from concerned members of the public who continue to follow the developments of the case, which continues on Thursday. Kareem Smith, CBC News.
Thanks, Kareem. We'll take a short break here and come back with more news.
Yes is a beautiful word. It empowers us. It brings satisfaction. And since you earn up to 3% cash back on everyday purchases with the Scotiabank Gold MasterCard, that's a lot of satisfaction, a lot more often. Plus, you get a welcome bonus from the get-go. Scotiabank Gold MasterCard is the card that keeps on giving, so it's easier for you to create many more precious yes moments. Apply today.
You've got to strive and believe you can achieve anything you put your mind to. Go the extra mile with good service. Be positive in your attitude. Get up. Oh, 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 oh. Barbados, be productive. Oh, 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 oh.
Enjoy Bico on a budget. Get the value pack 1 liter vanilla ice cream from Bico for the unbeatable price of $12.95, VAT inclusive. Beat the heat and keep some money in your pocket with this great offer from Bico. Available from participating outlets island-wide, Bico Mobilers, and the Bico Direct Outlet on Harbor Road.
I am Kurt Thompson and I'm a manager at a hardware store here in Barbados. My biggest hobby is motorsports. I recommended Beacon Insurance to my niece, Carissa.
I have motor insurance for my vehicle.
And she got her license and it was her first car. It was easy for her to go to make sure she can get what she needed. If something may occur, that should be taken care of by a good company. I am glad I switched to Beacon Insurance.
An altercation between several people last evening resulted in a 45-year-old man being shot. David Ford of Piers Avenue, Lodge Hill, was shot in his left thigh. Police say the incident took place around 4:15 at Reservoir Road, Lodge Hill. 2 other people were also injured. 46-year-old Errol Ford of Green Hill sustained cuts to his head and knees, and 22-year-old Shaquan Eiffel of Cave Hill received chops to his head and hands. The 3 men were transported to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital by ambulance. Investigations are continuing into the matter. An elderly woman collapsed and died in a mini-mart in Bayville yesterday. She has been identified as 73-year-old Lolita Wiggins of 1st Avenue, Beccles Hill, St. Michael. Police say Wiggins was at the Evelyn Avenue establishment when she suddenly collapsed and died at the scene. 4 years after Barbados lost its super centenarian James Cisnet, the St. Luke's Anglican Church is once again celebrating his life and legacy. Mr. Cisnet, who died at the age of 113, spent over 100 years as a member of St. Luke's. The church unveiled a plaque in his honor during a memorial service yesterday. Surrounded by family and church members, Mr. Cisnet's oldest daughter, Everine Cisnet Carter, says she misses him dearly.
Daddy was an amazing human being. He was kind-hearted, generous, and filled with surprises and wisdom. He had a great sense of humor. I miss him dearly for his personal talks. We shared the many words of wisdom that pass on to me that I pass on to my kids.
Well, when you're speaking about Kadoomantin, Barbados, and bands in particular, you cannot leave out the name Betty West. The veteran designer launched her 2017 band in grand style recently at the Coast Bar. Is but a number for the effervescent Betty West. Every year she just gets better, and 2017 is no different. As usual, the tried and proven West brings a bit more to the table than your usual feathers and beads costumes. This year, she's expecting total domination.
I feel this year I've taken it all because I've done my best. I've come better than ever. So I feel great. And this launch was unbelievable. I had a wonderful turnout.
Quite fittingly, this year's theme is Welcome to My Island.
I chose this theme in gratitude to the people from the international people who come to Barbados and also regional people. Years ago, they would come for the sea and sand, but now they come to participate in our popover.
Like her launch, which featured DJs and a number of popular artists, Ms. West says her band offers a full package.
The band house is in the same place as last year, a few yards from Golden Sands, and also a few yards from Butterfly Hotel. We're open from 9 in the morning until 10 at night. We give a packet, huh? The price includes snacks on the road, first thing breakfast, snacks on the road, drinks all the way, good music, good security. When you get on there, you get some hot Bajan food.
There's a call tonight for a closer look at the regulations surrounding events like Gospel Fest. This from executive producer of Gospel Fest, Adrian Agard. More from Tristan Ward.
Mr. Agard was speaking at the Flow One Awesome Day, the grand finale event of Gospel Fest. He believes the current regulations make it difficult to improve the production of events such as this one.
There are some regulatory things that need to look at. We hear a lot about the cultural industries bill, but there really need to be a fairly close look at how can we do things to encourage people to be involved in producing these events. Whether it has to do in the area, a lot of people are challenged in the area of dealing with the value-added tax or dealing with cost tax. These are areas that need to be examined.
Despite this, the festival continues to be a hit for hundreds of patrons. Mr. Agard says he is pleased with the response.
This week has just been one amazing week, starting from Monday and coming right away through until today. You're seeing a very enthusiastic response from the audience. We've had some amazing productions.
The crowd sang and danced to performers like Nisha Woods and Nature Kid. Mr. Agard says the festival has also played a role in exposing people to the large pool of talent here in Barbados.
There's a need for us to have more events so that people can really get a chance to practice their craft and to share their ministry, not just here, but outside of Barbados. So I was very excited about what I saw at the Sunset concert, some of the new talent that is emerging.
With Gospel Fest 2017 behind him, the executive producer says once he gets some rest, he will be thinking about next year's edition. Tristan Ward, CBC News.
After the break, we'll take a look at stories making headlines across our region.
Diamond Dazzler, it's time to play. Diamond Dazzler, the new instant $250,000 scratch game from the Barbados Lottery. Available at select lottery outlets.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter. That's the move for me. Stability, prosperity. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
Have you or someone you know been diagnosed with diabetes? If so, it is important that you know about Glucerna. Glucerna is a nutritional supplement for people with diabetes and contains Carb Steady, which helps minimize blood sugar spikes. Manage your diabetes with Glucerna. Glucerna, nutrition for people with diabetes, designed for you.
No let-up in the violence plaguing St. Lucia, as the island's murder toll rose to 26 so far for the year. The latest murder victim is a 49-year-old Vieux-Fort man. Police found the lifeless body of Moses Clovis in a rocky area along the seafront with multiple bruises. 6 young people aged between 12 and 17 years are currently in police custody. The youngsters are suspected of having stoned the man to death after an altercation. An earthquake with a magnitude of 4.0 rattled the west of Trinidad late last night, the second in the past 2 weeks. The Seismic Research Center of the University of the West Indies said the quake was felt around 6 minutes after 7 in the evening. Earlier this month, the SRC reported that an earthquake was felt in Trinidad and Tobago and neighboring Grenada. On both occasions, there were no reports of injuries or damages. Jamaica's largest alumina refinery, Alpart, is set to resume production 8 years after its closure and sale to the Chinese company Gisco. Alpart's assistant managing director, Patrick James, says production will resume on June 20th and the mining of bauxite on the Manchester Plateau will begin on June 5th. The Guyana government says it will continue to provide assistance to the people of Venezuela, even though it acknowledged that Caracas has not approached it for assistance. This is a result of the internal disturbances in the South American country. Vice President and Minister of Foreign Affairs Carl Greenidge says in spite of the difficulties that the two countries had experienced with regards to border controversy, the two governments routinely utilize direct diplomatic channels to communicate. A peek into the world of sports is just ahead, but before we get there, here's a tip from Cooperators General Insurance.